Hi everyone, I'm Aaron. My agenda is actually pretty short and I'm here to shame people. Just kidding. All right, so DPDK, quite a large community. We get lots of patches, lots of features, there's lots of developers, they all want to integrate something new, right? So the problem is, it's difficult to review all that. It's difficult to, for maintainers to take all those patch files, do the basic sort of sanity checking. Oh, do they do check patch right? Do they, build correctly, run all the testing and all that? These are mechanical processes. Easy enough to automate, easy enough for they're just kind of mindless. But they have to get done anyway. So there's a lot of them, right? And so the solution is, let's build a CI, right? Let's build a CI pipeline so that when developers contribute patches, we get some automation that automatically goes through all that sort of, we'll call it mindless work, right? The sort of boring stuff. Meson, Ninja, DTS, for instance. So what happens is we implement a CI pipeline, but it's sort of not stable. People don't trust the results, right? Developers are like, yeah, I don't really care when that thing says a failure. It's not really working right anyway. Hey, the lab is kind of always reporting something broken. The robots have gone haywire. What are we doing? So that becomes the next problem. And the solution is, okay, we work really hard. We make the CI pipeline very stable. I think it's pretty stable now. I think most people would agree. And so the result is developers trust the CI, which is a good thing. But we start to see a weird thing develop, right? The problem is developers stop doing their internal testing. Like, hey, okay, I've made a code change. All right, let me check that it builds. As you can see, sometimes it doesn't even compile. So they stop testing, they stop doing even basic sanity checks, right? They stop doing sort of the nuts and bolts of developing a feature and giving it to us. And we end up with, for instance, multiple versions posted in a single day. I just picked this one. Or we end up with developers that make so many changes rapidly, again, without testing, that they submit 46, 72 patch files. More patch files than even something like maybe NetDev might process in a 2 or 3 week period will come in a single day to DPDK mailing list. But who cares, right? I mean, these are robots running, so it's not tying up anyone's time. Right? So what do? We do some quick little hack. We send it off to the, we decide, it's good enough. I've been coding C for like 30 years, so I'll never make a mistake here. I post it over the fence, right? UNH picks it up. The GitHub robot picks it up. Longson picks it up. Now AWS picks it up. Intel picks it up. Then we see check patch errors. We see compilation failures. We see basic testing issues, right? And so what do you say? Oh, okay, well, I got an email back, right? It's been maybe a half hour. Oh, okay, I'll fix that one thing, right? In my 46 patch series, yeah, throw it off again, right? Who cares? I mean, some robot's gonna test it, and then I can go back to drinking Czech beer or watching cat videos, whatever. So every time through the loop, you get a little bit further, but it's still not done yet. And certainly, not high quality, but hey, who cares, right? It's a good thing. In the end, right, by V7, V8, all the lights are green, everything's passing, so it's good now, right? But here's the problem. Every time through that loop, it's not just you tying up 30 minutes on your laptop. You tie up 1,600 minutes of runtime at the IOL. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of compute power. You tie up 190 minutes of runtime at GitHub. I don't know how much time you're tying up at like Intel, Longson, AWS, but it's this, if you add it all up, I mean, you're talking almost 24 hours probably of computers running broken patches broken test series, broken stuff. Further, each one of those, 46 patch series that has, a missing semicolon or a, bad development piece, each one of those fills up our mailboxes, fills up patchwork, and it makes it actually sort of not enjoyable to actually do a review, because I don't know, when's the next, is there something wrong with this and a robot's gonna report it 15 minutes into my review, and then 30 minutes later, the next version's gonna come, and this guy's not gonna have addressed any of my comments? I tried to not actually shame anyone, but I'm sure you could figure it out if you really wanted to. But here's an example. This was a build failure, right? And so within, an hour and a half, another version posted, which by the way also failed for a build failure. So it's clear this person wasn't actually didn't say, oh, you know what, I rushed this, I should take the time, I should make sure that my next version is really, passing everything and really something ready to review. So like I said, it piles up on the mailing list. It makes reviews feel, maybe a little bit just not really wanting, demotivational. It's a demotivational process. Like, I don't want to review a patch now because, I don't know, is it probably broken, and then some robot's gonna come along and tell us all that it's broken, and then I'm going to write some comment that it's broken, and this guy, maybe he's already spun up the next version, and we have to sort of always be chasing that. This gets especially worse during the RC stages. I know like Thomas and David have probably seen it worse than I'm reporting it here, but it gets very bad. There's just like a constant flurry of emails. I think there was one time where Thomas didn't sleep for like a few days in a row. It was, so it's pretty bad sometimes during those cycles. So can we, as developers, do better? And I think the answer is yes. Okay, first thing I will say is, let's say you want to get back to watching your cat videos really quickly, and you really just want someone else to be running this. Well, I mean, at least if you have GitHub, we have support for GitHub Actions already built in. So if you just go to your settings and you allow actions on your GitHub, your private GitHub, you can just push there. It will run all those actions, and you can see, oh, okay, well, I made a build failure. Let me fix this. Let me go ahead and submit the, the next version to my private. And then once I see everything passing, okay, now at least I know some robot's not going to tell everyone that I didn't bother testing and was busy watching cat videos. I'm showing here something that I started working on. And I'm happy for someone to help. And this is Cirrus CI support, so that we can do like FreeBSD builds. It's currently broken, not because we can't build on FreeBSD. We can compile just fine, but the unit tests don't run. So if anyone wants to help get those running on FreeBSD, I know the lab would appreciate it because they're only doing compilation on FreeBSD. And yeah, I would appreciate it because then we could push this in, and then we'll also have a Cirrus robot in addition to a GitHub robot. There are also, I put a link here to like the documentation for running the Meson unit tests. So you can, in fact, just run them on your machine, fast tests and all that, and just get a bit of like confidence that, hey, I made some change and it didn't obviously break anything. So again, it's like sort of an easy thing to do, I think, to just guarantee that, yeah, we're not sort of spending cycles and tying up mailing list and email boxes. And we can sort of relieve the pressure, that comes with just like floods of patches by saying like, if a patch is failing basic compilation, in my opinion, there are bigger issues than just, oh, someone forgot a semicolon. I mean, it's clear that they did not even test. Because if it failed compilation, then how could they have tested? It's not possible. So, multiple versions in a day, so like, at least be testing. Next, like, multiple versions in a day are not useful for getting feedback. This is a global community. There are people spread all over the world, and if we are iterating so quickly on patches, if we're saying like, okay, yeah, here's next version in 5 minutes, next version 10 minutes later, next version 15 minutes later, I don't know, who here, put your hand up if you really want to be reviewing in that environment. Okay, let the record show no one has raised their hand. So, I mean, yeah, no one wants to work in that. It's becomes like a write-only thing, you know? Patch series that go so large, I have 46 patches, 57 patches, 72 patches. It's difficult to actually review those properly. It's a lot of change going in, a lot of churn going in, and most likely it can be broken down into something smaller, more digestible, and more importantly, then it's not all going in during RC cycle. You can kind of get your stuff in incrementally and work toward, you know, the end date and end goal, slowly, piecemeal at a time, and then it kind of takes the pressure off for everyone. You're not in a time crunch at the end to try and get everything in for the, for the release. The maintainers aren't busy losing sleep trying to merge 115 patch series. That's all good. And then finally, we all need to be mindful of the community resource that we're taking up. When you tie up those 1,600 minutes of time at IOL, no one else can use those. Those systems are being in use for your patch series that maybe it's not ready. So, if you take some time on your local system or using some of the sort of, we'll say, free public stuff available like GitHub Actions even, you can make it so that you're not tying up resources on patches that just aren't going to get merged anyway. So we want to avoid a write-only mailing list, right? If there's 1,000 patches flying by, like LKML, the main mailing list, is a write-only mailing list. No one reads it. Everyone goes to their subsystem mailing list and all that because the number of patches is too high, right? And the number of versions, everything would be too high and all that. DPDK, we don't break it out like that. We have a single mailing list. And if you're submitting a patch every hour, if everyone does that, it becomes like just a fire hose of emails that's impossible really to review. And if it's like coming every hour, then also you're discouraging people from reviewing it. You're kind of signaling, yeah, I'm not actually testing this. I'm not actually doing, the development work on it. I am using the community resources as a compiler. So, I've kind of codified all this stuff into like a documentation update, and I did send an RFC to the mailing list, and I CC'd everyone in the maintainers file. And thank you, Thomas, for feedback, and I know I brought this up at the tech board. And then finally, I submitted it after addressing comments to as patch, and hopefully it will get merged. And the basic idea is keep your patches small. Don't submit more than one version of your patch within a 24-hour period, unless you're specifically directed to. Like, if you're fixing something super critical and, you spun it up and it failed some test and Thomas emails you and says, publicly on those, hey, just submit a new version now because as long as it passes, then we'll merge it. Okay, that's one thing. Or David says, yeah, please spin this right away, we need it. But otherwise, there's nothing that important that 24 hours is like not a difficult thing to just wait. So, finally, that's it. I think I went over time by just a little bit, but if there are any questions, yeah.
All right, this is off. Do we have any questions for Aaron?
I just thinking like, can we block at the source itself? Like if somebody sends the new version within a day, we can stop there itself, right?
Probably, yeah. What we could do is we could have some robot that shames people. So basically, if you submit the next version.
Not shaming the people. I mean, let's not like, I think it comes to the email server, then from there it goes to the, right? So we can block it actually. I think some mailing list does in that way. I think we should do that rather than relying on people.
Yeah, we could put some rate limit in. But the problem is, I don't know if there's a way to do a rate limit on like a version of a patch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to rate limit someone if they're going to submit a patch, right? Let's say they submit like a patch that's a series that's 3 patches long. But then they do something very nice for everyone, which is they say, okay, I'm going to have to wait 24 hours anyway. Let me go read through and do a review on something, you know, and actually like reply and all that. I don't want to rate limit those replies. I don't want to really rate limit the comments to, you know.
Only the new patches, I think, not the comments. Yeah, only
exactly.
the patches. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. If we can do that, that would be interesting to investigate.
Any question from Lucas over here?
Thank you. Just a small comment, what we did basically in Suricata. We first do some sanity build tests in the first stage, and only then run all the test suites. So this can save up basically all those unnecessarily minutes spent on the CI itself. Just to run as a basic check first.
Yeah, I mean, we might, so that's something that we could work in the various labs and say like, okay, if something is failing, we can, you know, sort of stop, you know, the other builds that are, maybe we could stop other builds that are in progress because we can say, yeah, this is probably not going to fly, so just don't bother running. It's a good suggestion. We can look into it.
Yeah, thanks.
Got a question from Thomas?
Yeah, sorry for the very technical question. Please, can you show again one of your first slides? Let's go back. Yeah.
Which one?
After? Yeah, this one. Yeah, here you talk about delicious Czech dark beer, but do you really think Kozel is the best one?
No. No. Well, I do enjoy it. I think it's good. My preference when I'm in Czechia is to go to Ufleku.
Thank you.